Welcome back, friends and family. I am Codiferrous, and today I am ranking the Limitcut bosses from the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC from easiest to hardest. The story portion of the DLC, titled Remind, expands more on the ending of the main game, adding some depth into Sora's fate. Remind essentially has you replay the ending cutscenes and boss fights directly after you complete them in the main story, making it painfully redundant. To a rage-filled boss rush junkie like me, this was a chore. However, you are rewarded for your efforts and patience with the Limitcut episode. The organization fights have been reimagined and fully fleshed out to bring us 14 of the most challenging bosses in video gamedom. I'm keeping this intro short because we have a lot to talk about, so let's set the stage. All fights that you're about to see were completed at level 99 on critical mode, which is also my first blind playthrough of the game. I did not use any easy cheats or pro codes. I also didn't use any Koopa coins or stat boosting meals because, quite frankly, I forgot that they existed. Per usual, I did not look up, watch videos of, or follow any guides, so please understand that all strategies and combat approaches that you see are entirely based off my own discovery and design. Or should I say, based off of me throwing my body into the gauntlet repeatedly while sacrificing my sanity along the way. Regardless, if I don't talk about or show a strategy that you may have used, it's because I didn't know about it at the time of recording. And on the topic of this recording, it should be obvious that this ranking is based off of my own personal experience and is not the supreme law of the land. Different players of different fighting styles will have different results, especially if you are not playing on critical mode. And as a final note, I would like to pass around the offering hat and ask tribute to the channel in the form of you subscribing. My boss rank guide videos take a copious amount of time to create, and your support means the world to a growing boy like me. Channel plug over. Walk with me as we analyze each boss's attacks, defensive measures, abilities, and BS factors to determine who is the mightiest of them all. Luxord brings back his various non-trademarked imposing card games, much to my delight, as the games are intuitive and you are rewarded for being successful. On the contrary, failure to perform here could make Luxord top echelon, but let's assume the best. When he launches out two large cards on either side that attempt to trap and clap you, you may notice a symbol on them. Use the corresponding spell to destroy the cards and pass the game. For example, if you see a lightning bolt symbol, use Thundaga. Moving along, we have the card carousel where Luxord hides a circle pattern card among X pattern cards that rotate around him, requiring you to hit the circle card without touching the X's. You must do this 5 times consecutively to drop his shield and unleash an attack. Failure to do so in time will cause all cards to detonate. You will also see his elevated deal that sends 2 triplets of cards your way. Tempting as it is to dodge roll, for any of Luxord's card attacks, you're going to want to block instead, as every card that is not blocked will be played into his hide and seek game. His most showboaty of basic moves, hide and seek, takes all cards that have been dealt so far in the battle and shuffles them around. Luxord is hiding among the slew of cards intermixed with X and circle patterns. Your goal is to find all of the circle cards and attack them, thereby revealing Luxord's card. Hitting an X will result in an explosion and loss of time. Meanwhile, explosive cards will make their way over to you periodically as you search, so be wary of that. Side note, it is entirely possible to simply attack Luxord without going for any of the circle cards if you can keep track of where he goes when shuffling, but this is much easier said than done. And need I remind you that these are data bosses we're talking about here. Of course he has an ultimate attack. Luxord deals out dozens of cards in a circle, necessitating that you locate him without damaging the other cards. You need to find Luxord 3 times in 3 different rounds while your life points are attacked directly. Playing on PlayStation, you need to approach Luxord and press triangle once he's revealed. You are also welcome to attack him, but you run the risk of hitting the adjacent cards. On the final round, he will fake you out to get you to choose the wrong card. You will know it's the real him when 2 cards reveal and attack you. Be patient here, as losing this game pretty much makes you lose the fight. If you struggle with minigames, I can definitely see the argument for Luxord being difficult, but I have a knack for this kind of thing, and so he was the easiest boss of them all. Larxene's oppressive power from Kingdom Hearts 2 has been toned down to where now she is a fun and balanced boss fight. She is vulnerable to attack more often than you would think, as you quickly discover that you can damage Larxene at the end of most of her attacks. You will find your best opportunity to be after she does the short-range spread shot. You might not think of it due to how you've been trained to avoid lightning, but only her red lightning attacks are unblockable. For her ultimate, she summons shadow clones that taunt you before running the fade. Attack them as quickly as they appear to remove them and reduce the number of incoming attacks. Her patterns get a bit difficult to read as the clones begin running a train on you. Larxene will stop midway to charge up her Wolverine claws to crank up the offense. When she encircles you with red lightning and laughter, wait for a moment before dodge rolling, as this attack has a delay before executing. The good news is that she takes damage for each clone, so if you can get off some AoE shot locks, you're in business. We're not going to do a deep dive on Larx's set, because quite frankly, you don't need to have a thorough understanding of it. Dodging and attacking when your gut tells you to works out far better than it should.
You cannot win.
Young Xehanort is only held back by how small his health pool is. At the start of the fight, wait 3 time skips before guarding 3 times and risk dodging on the final Blizzard Slash. If you get good enough with your timing, you can block and risk dodge his aerial slash combos to get something akin to a Dragon Ball fight. When he does a Blizzard Barrage, wait to guard at the appropriate time and don't get distracted by the teleport shenanigans. His physical attacks should time up nicely with a final Blizzard Volley. Your best opening to attack is after he does 3 spinning slashes. Block all of them and block a 4th time right after the 3rd slash to get a counterattack. If anything, this is where you should get most of your damage. For his ultimate, he summons shadow clones which take turns feint attacking. Block at every other clone starting at the 2nd appearance of the whip attack. When you block the 3rd whip, aka the 6th attacking clone, counterattack to knock him out of the ultimate. You only need to hit him a single time to break free. Young Xehanort does this again at the end of the fight, and I sort of weaseled my way around it. And that's the thing, I didn't have to master the fight against Young Xehanort. I only focused on attacking after one specific window while ignoring or running from his other attacks, and I was able to pull victory.
Accept the darkness.
Terra-Xehanort is incredibly aggressive with bodacious amounts of super armor. Heads up, when his blade glows red, that's an unblockable. His most punishable window is when he teleports 3 times and unleashes a slew of firebolts. Guard against all of these and wait for the 3rd teleport where he will shoot them at you in a direct stream. Air step through this to get a free combo. You can also readily attack after his stand does 2 rising strikes at your location followed by a large spike slam. For his ultimate, we are pulled into the void and eldritch bolts spire out of the floor. Run counterclockwise and time your dodge rolls for when the stand appears to throw a wave of energy your way. When you hear him say, you will need to dodge roll once more to avoid the final blast of the attack. Upon reaching critical health, Terranort does a long-winded, unblockable combo complete with teleport slams that I really struggled to avoid. Probably the worst news I can give you is I don't really have a concrete strategy for getting through this. The good news is that Terranort is more vulnerable than you think. Try guard and counterattacking in the middle of his basic, non-unblockable combos and you might randomly catch him off guard. If in doubt, just play it safe and wait for his Firaga Barrage to seal the deal.
I'll scatter you to the wind.
Marluxia has been a pleasure to fight in every game that he is in, but this data fight is the creme de la Rection. For the majority of this fight, you're going to be able to damage Marluxia just after he's completed an attack. His opening move is a basic slash combo, but this is often followed by throwing his scythe into 2 passes that you can block, with the 3rd pass being unblockable and requiring you to dodge. The scythe toss can be mixed up to make only 2 passes, so you want to keep a watch for when Mar grabs it himself and throws it vertically. This signifies the unblockable part of the attack. Alternatively, you can opt to dodge roll all the slashes just to be safe. Keep in mind for every boss in this list, if you see a different colored move, assume it's unblockable. Marluxia can also summon rose drones that resemble those used by the Lingering Will. Use Thandaga to clear him out. When he does a large floor shockwave, he will armor up. Hit him with Firaga to remove it, or simply avoid him for a few seconds for it to wear off naturally. For the last of his basic moveset, Mar will create 4 rose singularities. He will teleport to each of them, drawing you in. When he teleports and pulls you in for the 3rd time, he will unleash a slash combo. Block and then risk dodge to get a retaliation strike in. Now we hit the ultimate. Mar brings back the ASMR goodness, cursing Sora with a doom timer. Upon reaching 0, you'll be hit with instant death. For this phase, you need to break his armor before you run out of time. Start by staying away from the center of the arena, blocking when he comes in for his initial slashes. His final slash is unblockable, so time a dodge appropriately. Afterwards, he'll try to pull you into the center of the stage before summoning a skull monument. Fly away and air step back in after it appears. Before you finish your combo, he will ready his next attack. Press him after his combos to rack up that damage and break the armor, allowing you to cast a spell. At critical health, we are traded to the ASMR finale. Unwilling to go below 1 HP, Marluxia curses us once again with a doom timer at 99 that decreases rapidly. In the meantime, he goes on a Scythe Frenzy and one of the greatest final attacks of all time. You can block some of the attacks, but others are piercing and must be dodge rolled. Save yourself the trouble and dodge roll towards the Scythe at each pass. When your timer reaches 15, he will complete his attack and allow you to deal the finishing blow. Throw a simple shot lock to secure the win. I cannot suck this boss fight enough, it just kicks ass.
The hero thinks he's ready now.
Your success in this fight centers on how well you can block. Xigbar starts off each fight the same way, thankfully. Begin by circling to the right. He will loose a few rounds that you will guard, allowing you to then run a little more and then guard again. His third blast will be a charge shot that splits into a minefield that then tracks you. Simultaneously, Xigbar will fire yet another volley of shots. For this, you will jump after he begins charging the shot. If you jump before, then he will adjust his aim and ruin your approach. Glide over the scatter blast towards him and then guard the follow-up. He will start charging another attack, and that's when you air step in for a combo. I messed this up by air stepping a tad too early, but managed to pull through on some damage anyways. Afterwards, Xigbar will blink to the other side of the donut and fire off yet more bolts for you to deal with. Block the first one and hold off on the second guard until he blinks in front of you. Block a third time as he completes his cartwheel and do a counterattack after. Xigbar would then unleash his Iron Curtain attack, which isn't anything to be scared of. It mostly serves as a method for him to conceal his other attacks. Guard is often disabled until we get a new backdrop. From here, Xigbar will pause and then attack, prompting yet more guards, to which end we challenge the Desperado to a showdown. Wait for him to lunge before blasting off, and we are rewarded with a counterattack. Congratulations, you made it through the introduction of the fight. From here, things get dicey as Xigbar will walk around appearing defenseless when in actuality this is a counterattack stance. What we want to do here is trigger his retaliation and then guard the attack 3 times, with the third retaliation barrage being actual shots that we can reflect. Afterwards we can counter. Otherwise we are guarding his blast while waiting for the right moment to counterattack. That is, until he hits his ultimate. Xigbar will blast in a circle, making 2 passes over you. Roll twice. He will then emit a hail of shots from the center that rain down on you in waves of 2. The timing for this is difficult if you wish to roll. However, you can dodge both ways by gliding along the perimeter. The third segment of this attack creates a cross-section of projectiles, with Xigbar appearing in the center to do another circle pass in addition to a delayed shower. This is best dodged by rolling, but I was so bad at dodging this that I maybe succeeded once in my many attempts. Finally, he will unleash a massive storm of shots that come from both above and below due to his portal powers. You want to run in a medium circle at first, but as the shots chase you, you want to expand your path to the outside and then add in dodge rolls at the end. I was quite consistent with surviving the ultimate, only ever really getting hit in the segment mentioned. The best advice I have is to play patiently. Don't let his silky voice lines provoke you, or you'll be hitting that retry screen in no time. Somehow the team at Square managed to make a dodgy, irritating, taunting twist of a taint even more dodgy, irritating, and twisted. Opening move, Orb Lasers and Mines. Ansem will distance himself and shoot Eldritch Bolts at you. Just after he fires a third volley, air step and attack. This converts into his basic moveset, which includes the Laser Cage Tackle and Dark Ensnarement. Spam block the Laser Cage and dodge roll the Dark Ensnarement. If you battled Replica Riku first, you should have some experience with this move. Ansem is most vulnerable after avoiding his triple charge attack. There are a few ways to counter him here. You can dodge his first 2 passes, then air step and immediately block as he does his third, which will break his posture. Alternatively, you can dodge roll all 3 charges and then air step the moment he reappears. His first ultimate brings us into the shadows with balls in our face. Block each of the ball projectiles a total of 4 times before carefully air stepping to Ansem. Getting hit by anything here will afflict you with a random status effect that can spell certain doom. Now the balls flank you on both ends. Block the burst 3 times and wait just a moment before dodge rolling as the balls collapse. How's that for a sentence? This tops off with a gravity attack that you need to run from while dodging orb lasers. Easier said than done. Afterwards, his moveset remains mostly the same outside of some added grid lasers. Critical Health would see his final ultimate. Back in the shadows, the balls stack and we block an onslaught of missiles and dodge roll as the balls charge. Do it a second time and air step after. Now for the most annoying segment where Ansem launches these eyeball streams at you that are incredibly difficult to see. Dodge roll at each pass and air step when his balls return to hopefully get in the final combo.
I'll show you how powerful I am.
He was painful to fight in KH1 Proud Mode, and he is a menace here. I cannot stress you enough how difficult every one of these bosses are. They are all S tier in difficulty, but Riku is a cut above the previous entries. He opens the same way every time, summoning his Dark Minefield and taking a swing at you, but his patterns after this feel quite random. He has many different basic combos that he intermixes with magical attacks, and his ferocity is unmatched in that he is constantly firing off a new attack, giving you very little room to breathe. You are able to block all of his shockwaves, dives, and physical attacks, but he's got you covered with his unblockable arsenal of geysers, blade projectiles, reflect spells, and dark ensnarement. When he does the reflect spell, space out a little and wait for it to disperse before sliding into punish. You can also reliably damage Riku after he does the leaping combo that ends with 2 shockwaves. Guard through this and counterattack to find yourself in a leading position. The attack that will banish you to the Shadow Realm is unsurprisingly his ultimate, the new and improved Dark Aura. Timing is everything. Block the initial shockwave, then block until he does a Helm Splitter from above. He will summon a minefield as well as those trademark unblockable red geysers on your position. Roll to safety and immediately prepare to guard again as he repeats the attack. When he does this for the 3rd time, you'll need to do an additional block after you dodge roll as he does a double Helm Splitter. Then do your usual block and dodge roll twice more as he ends with a geyser finale. Let's run that back in real time. Now you may attack. Riku's windows of vulnerability always seem to be shifting, so attack him as often and safely as possible, and you may surprise yourself in finding that you're able to damage him when it seems you can't. Or maybe you just get blown back. Regardless of the outcome, you will be going to sleep tonight with the echoes of
I'm unstoppable! One more, later, one more, later, one more, later, one more, later, like it? One more, you like it? See ya! I've been waiting for this.
tight spandex, no face reveal, and a short skirt. Sounds less like a nightmare and more like a daydream. That is until you actually start fighting. His most common opener will be the triple helm split that ends in a blizzard slash. Block each of these, but on the 3rd one he will break your guard, prompting you to perform a wrist dodge counter. He will then cycle through his arsenal until you get him down a few health bars. And boy does he have all the tools that one can need. Vanitas is a mixed attacker, adept at brawling, super armoring, magic spamming, and teleporting. You should recall the Firaga geyser that he had in the main story. He does this in bursts of 3, which I avoided by air dodging as he approached. After he completes the 3rd spout, he has another 50-50 in which he can either perform the blizzard helm split, which you will block, dodge, and counterattack, or he will gently float down like an autumn leaf. If he does the helm split, he will execute it abruptly. If he descends about halfway or so, then he is not going for the follow-up attack, meaning that you need to air step to administer some extra strength NyQuil. His final basic attack is the air cutter. Vanitas will slash twice in quick succession and then execute a delayed 3rd slash that launches projectiles at you. One block will cover the first 2 slashes, but a 2nd block is needed to cover the 3rd one. Vanitas will do the attack a 2nd time, but after he throws the 3rd blade at you, you can air step to him for a combo. Vanitas loves his fire magic, and he has a fireball combo that puts your guard skills to the test. Double block, double block. He will then teleport 4 times to fake you out, but when you see him making a move, block to stop a fastball. He will pause for a moment, but he's not done yet. He will teleport and execute a point-blank blast that you will guard the moment he appears. Hold off on guard as he will do his teleport stutter before loosing a slow-moving Firaga. Block, and then wait just a moment more for his final fastball. Let's see that again in real time. And now for his most despicable attack, the Falling Star combo. He teleports next to you with little warning and does a 4-piece, but after the initial 4 slashes, he will pause and do another fast starting 2-piece. I only got around this attack a handful of times due to its fast startup, so best of luck to you. After getting Vanitas down a few health bars, he will do a special attack where he calls in a wave of Keyblades to surf on. He'll make a taunt at you before launching a series of Blizzaga spikes. Air dash through these and then prepare to guard when he rams you with the Keyblade train. He will do this 3 times in total, with the final Keyblade train being an unblockable. If you are quick, he is vulnerable for a moment just after completing this attack. And that's the whole thing here. Vanitas attacks often, but he has dependable windows for counterplay. In a rare display of boss development, he is difficult, but not unfair. At least, I would say that were it not for the final leg of the fight, where we will now discuss the child-friendly fun factor. Vanitas' ultimate attack is wild and downright illegal by every law known to man and some known to monkeys. What I have so far is you need to block twice, then dodge. Block 7 more slashes. Then dodge 3 times. Block 3 slashes, then double dodge and double block. The final segment of this attack is signaled by a helm split, and it always caught me as it comprised of an alternation of slashes and unblockables. But even if you mess up like I did, you should be able to survive at this point. After ending his ulti, Vanitas will be vulnerable for a moment afterwards, but I always took this opportunity to top off my health and MP as he is quick to resume the battle. If you're lucky, he will default to his usual tactics, but more than likely, you're going to get the end of the shaft as he goes for mix-ups. Vanitas will integrate his attacks from previous using a combination of all of his standard moves, complete with delayed timing and super armor. Vanitas is everything good about a super boss. Well done fight progression, variety of attacks, nothing too overwhelming or unfair with a killer soundtrack. 5 stars for Sora's favorite leather daddy.
Why resist the emptiness?
The Xemnas Limitcut battle in Kingdom Hearts 3 is an impressively designed fight. In keeping with the theme of his battle style, this bout is correlated to a dance. You trade off taking lead on certain moves and then following the lead in his. After many deaths, you discover these attack patterns have a rhythmic timing for you to nail down on dodging and parrying. While I appreciate the theme direction of equating the fight to a ballet, I've never been accused of being graceful on my tootsies. Xemnas has an incredible amount of mix-ups that prove lethal no matter the given space, but the problem isn't the attacks themselves, it's about recognizing the startups. Often he apparates next to you and saws a slice of your cheeks off for his cheek charcuterie spread before you can even react. The good news is that if you somehow manage to counter the beginning of a combo, then you're likely going to be clear for the counterattack. Except for this asinine atrocity, his infamous barrier and Eldritch Bolt work in tandem as he attempts to push you into the barriers, thereby knocking you airborne for his follow-up. To get through this, you need to destroy all 3 barriers the instant they are summoned. After this, he will continually rush you in an airborne combo. Keep your guard up and counterattack at the very end. Another opportunity for damage presents itself when he does a dance number that ends in an upward laser sword spiral. Anytime you see this spiral, it's your cue to lay out the smackdown. But now it's time for the best part of the fight, and you already know what it is. Backed by popular demand, the Laser Dome makes its return from Kingdom Hearts 2 and ups the ante as one of the most badass ultimate attacks to be designed. Xemnas charges up the big one and sets the stage before rushing you. Keep a careful eye on his movements and uphold precise timing on your guards as you get displaced about the area. You will quickly catch on to the rhythm of his attacks before he vanishes and unloads the first laser barrage. Time a guard to block all the incoming red lasers or take it to your face like I did. Xemnas then reappears for another round of slice and dice. The timing changes to a single guard, pause, then another guard to block 2 attacks. Cycling back, we have the second laser barrage. Time a guard to absorb the red lasers and watch for the glint of blue lasers. These are unblockable and require you to dodge as they approach, immediately shifting gears back into a guard for the trailing red lasers. Papa Xemnas becomes impatient and reappears, bringing his unblockable cross slash. He executes slashes and waves the 2, adding in additional cross slashes for you to dodge. This culminates in the final laser barrage, this time bearing 2 waves of blue lasers. Dodge, dodge, and block again to return to normalcy. After this final attack, you will come out of the laser dome stunned, where Xemnas tries to execute you with a cross slash. For this, I swapped Keyblades to the nano gear for its stun protection. He now returns to his original moveset, but with added aggression and gusto. It's stuff you've seen before, so keep your nerves level and you can pull through. I believe in you.
Why do you fight?
Xion is one of the best fights in gaming, period. The music, the action, the visuals, it's all there. Xion starts off the same as always, opening with a 3-part combo. She tosses her Keyblade, following up with a triple strike, then going in for yet another triple strike. I block and counterattack at each opportunity for a total of 5 guards and counterattacks. This leads nicely into a full combo. She will then throw her Keyblade 3 times, and after guarding the 3rd, you can risk dodge to get in yet another combo. And now we proceed to the main course, the laser dance. Let's break this down. Xion dashes wildly while throwing beams of light at you in tandem with Keyblade attacks. The beams of light have this really neat feature to them in that they reduce your max health with each hit. Isn't that great? Get out your notepads, pupils. Let's do this. Off the top, 5 beams coming your way that you will guard against. After the 5th one, she would go in for a quick attack. This is immediately followed up with a burst of 2 beams followed by another set of 2. Up until this point, you can get away with guard spamming, but here you need to wait just a moment before she launches her next attack, as blocking too early will leave your tight little ring open for destruction. Block the rush attack and another round of laser tracers. The subsequent laser tracers will mask her as she throws her Keyblade for the first time. Then doing a light light skip and laser tracer. The timing changes here as Xion now attacks at every other light skip. Block the second Keyblade toss, wait, block the laser tracers, wait again, then block the final Keyblade toss to wrist dodge and punish. Alright, let's run the playback in real time. Now we're into phase 2 with her first ultimate. Our forgotten friend armors up and goes for 4 consecutive dive bombs that you need to block even when she dives away from you, as there are trailing lasers that follow. Counterattack after the 4th to start chipping down the armor. Now you can play offensively with counterattacks in a bid to deplete the armor, or you can wait out the ultimate by timing your blocks and dodges. She may do a lengthy combo rush that you can block, but pay special attention as the second to last attack breaks your guard, and the final attack, the Keyblade bonk, will stun you. A well-timed counterattack will avoid both of these hits. Now put your dodge skills to the test. We got 3 cleansing beams to deal with. Then we're in for another round of the same attacks we just dealt with, but in the reverse order. Survive to the end and it's business as usual, with the added change that Xion can now weave the stun combo in her opening 3-piece combos in the middle of her laser dance. Proceed enough into her health bar and you'll be blessed with the adrenaline-inducing panic that is Xion's final attack. Xion armors up again in an all-out assault, splitting the arena with light and rushing you repeatedly. She has very small windows for you to counter, and the attack only ends once you deplete her armor, or wait 60, you heard me right, 60 seconds for it to end. I personally managed to wait out the attack by spamming dodges like a madman. Form changes are incredibly useful here in staving off the health reducing effect of her laser tracers. Coming out of her ultimate, Xion now has additional laser tracers added to her Keyblade tosses and other attacks, but everything else remains largely the same. Lock in and behold, as one of the most forgotten characters in the franchise, becomes one of the most memorable.
This is how it's supposed to be.
The moon exhilarates me.
When this boss was released, it single-handedly kept the therapist profession in business. After hours of deaths, I've scienced out the vast majority of this boss fight. Block Saix's opening lunge and wrist dodge to counterattack. Press the attack to bait his revenge value. He will do 3 Eclipse strikes, then a delay before hitting Magna Storm. Block and counter strike each of these hits for optimal damage. Staying close, he is most likely to do a double slam combo followed by that introductory lunge. Dodge twice, block, and wrist dodge for another combo. See that berserk gauge? Guess what? Papa's pissed. Keep your distance and dodge roll as soon as he appears. Roll the double shockwaves and wait for him to do the planting slam attack, and then close the distance via roll or air step right as the shockwaves come out to steal in a combo. Now along comes the worst attack ever to grace gaming history. Saix appears and throws 5 spinning axes that home in on you and stun if they connect. My initial attempts were done without stun protection, so getting hit by this attack at all was a kill shot. And we're back to dodging shockwaves. After making a round of passes, Saix will scatter his weapons and deliver an arena-wide slam. This culminates in him pausing to charge up his ki, to where you will respond by casting Blizzard to interrupt him. Had enough? Too bad, because now we gotta do it all again. When his berserk meter finally depletes, he returns to his initial state. Unless you overdamaged him, that is. Because Saix might just chain this into his ultimate, and holy handjobs in a hand sack. He rampages the earth while throwing out more of the stunning axes for a period of about 30 seconds. Again, getting stunned equals death. Fly high and time your dodges very carefully to avoid the axes. My total death count for this boss was over 100, with the majority being due to getting stunned. Saix was the second data fight that I challenged, and it almost made me give up on ever completing this video. Going in blind and without the nano gear, you are in for a raw ringer in the flogging chamber.
Destiny is never left to chance.
Terra-Xehanort and the Kingdom Hearts 3 Limitcut episode is one of the most diabolical boss fights ever designed. The only good news about this fight is that it is very sequential and follows the exact same format in each attempt, which makes it painstakingly learnable. His opening volley must be blocked as they come out too frequent to dodge roll, but the lasers must be dodged as they are unblockable. When Big X teleports in to throw his Keyblade, you absolutely must counter it with a guard or spell. Failure to do so will treat you to a Neapolitan ice cream of clappage, Lazaga, Firaga, and a triple tasting of Bendagas. Now we top off our Sunday with a heaping of unblockable lasers to provide a sweet treat for the children. Transition into the light show. The beams of light are unblockable, so dodge roll is going to be your best friend. Xehanort throws these dreidels at you that explode and freeze you solid, guaranteeing your demise, so equip freeze protection to keep your cheeks off the chill. The goal of this segment is to land just a single hit on the boss, otherwise you'll be trapped in a purgatory of dreidel tosses. Dodge the initial light wave, then dodge roll towards him as he throws the first dreidel. Wait for him to reappear and execute a last moment dodge roll to avoid the double dreidel throw. Always try to dodge towards the boss, as dodging to the side or backwards is the surefire way to get hit by the Blizzaga explosion. When Xehanort appears again, he's open for attack. Air step to him and administer a combo to progress the fight. Resetting the stage, we got space lasers to avoid. Big X reappears for 3 slash attacks and then more dreidel tosses. Dodge roll the first one, then fly away for the next 3. When the 5th and 6th dreidels come out, perform an aerial dodge at each and then scan the arena for a Master Xehanort appears for the 7th toss. Air step the moment he shows up to interrupt the attack and get a full combo. As you go through this, you'll be doing most of your dodging by sound cues, so crank up that volume and pay attention. He retaliates your combo with 2 strikes and a dreidel throw. Foiling this, he hits you with some space lasers and a slash. Dodge roll, and when he whiffs his attack, you can counter him yet again. Master Xehanort will then reappear and attempt the Neapolitan magic again. Guard this or cast by Raga, and we are getting mad combos off, my friends. It takes a lot of practice to do so, but successfully performing all of the counters as described is about as optimal as you can be, and should trigger Xehanort's ultimate. We will get to that in a moment. If you didn't optimize the damage, then he will instead fire off all kinds of space lasers, necessitating ever more dodge rolls. When the 3rd set of space lasers fire off, the boss will reappear at center stage. Although more lasers will be spawning in to cook you sunny side up, this is your chance to rush the middle and attack Big X for a free combo. At this point, he will cycle into his other attacks until you get him to critical health. And what's happening here? Oh, nothing crazy. He just calls upon the Knights of the Round Table to deliver a sphincter-shattering slapdown. Xehanort cuts a slice of the action for himself as he also brings in his trademark lasers and holy-based melee attacks. And as per usual, getting hit by holy/light-based attacks reduces your max health. He is also immune to damage during this time, meaning that you need to survive the entire onslaught. And did I mention that this ultimate goes on for 31 seconds? Executing everything perfectly in this fight to get to this point takes about 3 minutes, if everything goes perfectly. Then you just get one shot in the sequence and have to start all over again. How quaint! It took me about 4 hours to beat this boss, so you can do the math on how many deaths were dealt out. But suffering brings about strength and wisdom, and now I shall impart that wisdom. You need to block the Limbo clones, aka his Knight's attacks, and dodge roll Master Xehanort's lasers and holy melee attacks. Use the sound cues to dodge the lasers as the screen goes into total sensory overload. Dodge the lasers, then block the first 4 slashes. Repeat this again for another round of lasers and 4 additional slashes. Transition into dodge roll as Big X goes in for 2 wide sweeping attacks. Roll through the lasers and very quickly guard against more knights. 2 more holy attacks means 2 more dodge rolls. Block 4 times, then dodge roll. Block 4 times and then just get slapped for the rest of it. No, just kidding. Another 4 guards, and then guard against 2 dreidel tosses. That's right, he's still got those on deck. And now for the rapid fire. Dodge 2 waves of lasers, guard 4 times, then immediately dodge the side laser ambush right as more Limbo clones spawn, and instantly guard against the 6 attacks from said Limbo clones. Then a final dodge roll from Xehanort's holy melee attack. And once again in real time. You may have noticed me getting flogged back there at the end. What did you expect? Just because I can read his attacks and know how to counter them doesn't mean I can execute it. The only time I made it through this ultimate was in the very clip being shown, which consequently was a successful run I had in beating him while recording, and I'm not too inclined to run it back. Anyways, after the ultimate, you go back to fighting him, but oh, now he uses the life-reducing holy attacks as part of his basic combos, while introducing a new combo that involves his own Keyblade transforming into a myriad of different weaponry, all of which have the ability to cut down your max HP. Dodge roll is your best friend. If you've made it this far, then I assume you have his Windows of Vulnerability downloaded to your long-term memory. As he cycles through his usual bag of tricks, play smartly and wait for your opening to get those last few attacks in to close out this battle once and for all. The one you've all been waiting for, Kingdom Hearts 3's secret boss Yozora on critical mode is one of the most difficult bosses in video game history. This entire fight feels like an anime face-off where you are not the protagonist. Yozora can open the fight with just about any one of his many offenses, including his ultimate attack. More on that later. Let's start going down the list. When he runs at you, he's trying to imprison you. Dodge roll, then block the triple slash, then dodge the prison twice more. Failing to do so will get your keyblade stolen and trigger a sequence of cat and mouse. Yozora will fire off a water zone that you will dodge roll at the last second, making certain to simultaneously avoid his charging slash. Yozora then attempts to charge at you at differing intervals, which you will carefully calculate to avoid. This tops off with a volley of Keyblade geysers that you will run from at first, but as soon as the Keyblades appear to crush you from the sides, dodge roll repeatedly while still moving in a circle to avoid the attack in its entirety, and your weapon will return to you. Or just take the gangbang head on. For his laser trap, Yozora vanishes and deploys drones to surround you. Timing must be exact in dodge rolling right as the lasers touch each drone. Block 2 times against his follow-up slash combo, then dodge the drone trap a second time. Immediately cast thunder and you can retaliate. And another classic, Yozora will charge you with his vortex attack that you can guard. He will tally again and slash twice at nothing before vanishing. A brief pause, then guard 3 times, instantly attacking after the third block. Yozora should appear right in front of you mid-attack and you'll parry him, thereby allowing a punish. Eventually, after dying enough times, you'll get good enough to know when he's going to do this attack, as there is a delay following him randomly vanishing. Tamath and Dog are right as he spawns in, and you will hit him, thereby negating this attack and allowing a full combo. When he goes airborne and shoots 6 red laser salvos, block 6 times and immediately air step as he says, "Nope," to get up close and personal. Occasionally he'll do a charge up offensive move. There'll be a phantom slash followed by 2 rush slashes. Yozora will then reappear to charge up a second time. As he does this, roll towards him and attack. Then cancel your attack into a guard to block his counter. Proceed to split his wig. Next, we have 2 different sword combos. The first is comprised of sweeping slashes, and the second has slashes mixed in with lasers. They both end with the main man placing his sword behind you for some cheek-slapping action. Roll backwards when the sword appears, and then immediately block, and this will stun Yozora, allowing for some air-stepping goodness. Progressing further, he will armor up and attempt to suck you off. Glide away in a circle as he does this 3 times, making certain to stay out of the suck zone.
Got this. Got this.
After the third one, cast thunder and air step to blast his rim. Getting hit by the suck off will heal Yozora as he steals your potions, ethers, even taking your Kupo coin. So to recap, our protagonist's light slashes reduce your max health. He's only damaged after you repel a combo, has super armor on all attacks, unblockable blue lasers, on top of being able to steal your Keyblade, your items, and your girl. And now we can look at his ultimate. It kicks off as an anti-gravity effect accompanied by some red lasers. Block the 2 red lasers, then dodge the 2 blue lasers. Keep track of where Yozora is after the second blue laser, as you have a brief window where you can air step to sneak in a combo. He now shifts gears and swings at you with one of 3 possible fadeaway attacks. After enough attempts, you will catch on to how to block each of these. Trust me. Now I'll pause, and then he appears center stage with some more lasers. Roll, block, block. Roll, block, block. Wait. Then do it again. Now that we're warmed up, it's time to get hot. Enter the Gigas army. These things spawn and charge at you from every which direction. This attack is avoided by rolling in rigid lines as opposed to in a circle. If you notice, I'm rolling at sharp angles in a sort of square-like pattern. Moxie switch up. The main man wants Sora all to himself. Yozora clones up and takes on the guerrilla gangbang approach with lasers and swords. Block the initial rush attack as the scenery changes back to show us the stars. Yozora appears and calls out before firing a red laser and blue laser salvo. You need to be fast on dodging both of these. We then need to guard a 3-piece and then roll into another guard as he does the signature backstab. His B-boys will start attacking you, but you can focus and air step to the real Yozora as he falls to the ground, allowing you to attack him. You will likely get hit by his subsequent clones, but hitting him here interrupts the attack sequence and pushes us to the final segment. Yozora repeatedly charges at you from outside the arena in an attempt to push you into the singularity that is now formed at center stage. Run towards the edge while dodging as he rushes at you a total of 10 times. You need to perform additional dodges on the 4th and 8th pass as he doubles back for a sneak attack. On the 10th rush, jump and glide outward to escape the impending explosion from the singularity. Should we see that again in real time?
Ready for this?
There.
Now. Back at you. Nice.
After all of that, surely we're done, right? Wrong. There's not a moment of calm in this savage storm of a showdown. Yozora comes back to reality and armors up for a repeated onslaught of attacks. The goal here is to break his armor by guarding and counterattacking. This leads into his last attack, which is a rotation of all of his fadeaway attacks that were introduced near the beginning of the ultimate. We have now successfully entered the last phase of the fight, and Pop is pissed that you chose to clear to dear life as he now upgrades all of his previous attacks to have unblockable light slashes. You know, the very same ones that reduce your health, of course. The worst part about this is if you're unlucky enough, Yozora can start the fight with this ultimate, thereby having the blue slash upgrades for the entirety of the fight, as well as doing his ultimate a second time when he reaches critical health. You're better off just starting over. To reiterate what I said in the introduction, I did this on critical mode without Kupol coins or stat boosting meals, so unless you want to be flogged like me, make use of the tools available to you. That brings us to the end of our video. The harmless henchman award for the least threatening boss goes to Luxord. I mastered his mechanics quite quickly, and being a King of Games duelist myself, he stood little chance. The lethal adversary award for the deadliest boss goes to Saix and Yozora. Saix served me the most total deaths in my blind playthrough, so many that I now crown him as the new sadistic tormentor of the channel, taking the title from Cuphead's Chef Saltbaker as giving me the most deaths against a given boss. But upon replaying the data files to obtain this footage, Yozora remains the deadliest boss in all regards. Thank you so much for watching. It took a lot of pain to analyze and memorize each of these bosses to the extent that I have, and I accept therapy and gratitude in the form of fondling that subscribe button. I read all the comments on my videos, so if you have some experience or insight to share with me, feel more than welcome to. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.